Metaphor ReFantazio is an amazing game, but it's too easy for my taste. So to make it harder, I have modded my game to completely disable normal experience gained. Now I'm stuck at level 1, but this doesn't only apply to me because every single one of my party members is also stuck at level 1 with very bad stats. Archetype experience hasn't been changed at all, so to survive, we have no other choice than to solely rely on the power of our classes called archetypes. This is the story of my grand fantasy, beating Metaphor ReFantazio at level 1.
Then state your name!
I am the hero, the savior of this country.
My friend, welcome aboard our Gauntlet Runner. This lovely fella over here is Nuras, our pilot, mechanic, mad scientist.
Super!
You get the picture. As you can see, he has a few screws loose, but I can guarantee you, Nuras is a great guy. Now that I think about it, I am slowly starting to get my very own crew. We have someone who can cook, we have a navigator, we have a Hulkenberg. With a crew like this, it's only a matter of time before we find the One Piece. Wait, Nuras, if you are here with me, who is driving the Gauntlet Runner?
Oh no, this is bad! Someone, help, please!
So in Metaphor, traveling to a new location can take a couple of days. Fortunately, there are a bunch of activities that you can do inside the runner to kill time, like taking a dump. Yeah, you might think that I'm joking, but going to the bathroom is actually pretty useful in this game because of a unique mechanic. In Metaphor, the calendar only has 5 days. Wait. I'm sorry, what? Only 5 days? So Idol's Day is the last day of the week. And if you go to the bathroom on every Idol's Day specifically, your luck will increase by 1. I have no idea why unclogging your bowels is a source of a stat boost in this game, but if there are any Metaphor scholars watching, please feel free to explain to us the lore ramifications behind this event. Now, outside of that, there are other activities that you can do, like raising your virtues by reading books or talking to your comrades, but personally, I decided to forego these options to focus on something else entirely. Another activity that you can do here is cleaning the runner. Remember the 3 mechanics I told you about? The ones that I can use to raise my stats? Yeah, cleaning is that third mechanic I was alluding to. And what's great about cleaning is that doing it permanently increases the max HP of the protagonist by 5. In my first playthrough, I never felt the need to use this mechanic, but right now, I am so glad that it exists, because in this game there are a couple of solo fights, and I'm definitely gonna need as much HP as possible for those. All in all, the Gauntlet Runner is an amazing facility that's going to benefit us greatly during the run. Well, except for Stroll. The poor guy does not handle Gauntlet Runners very well. After my cleaning session, we took a break to gaze at the magnificent Tree of Prophecy. This is one of the many gorgeous places that you get to visit in this game, and every time you find a new location like this one, you will get a good amount of wisdom points. Additionally, Nuras will also produce a drawing of the landscape for you, and I have a feeling that a little girl I know from Grand Trad is going to enjoy these drawings quite a lot. During this 4-day trip, I spent my entire time cleaning the runner like my life depended on it, and then I took a break on June 26th to admire the view.
My star is rising! Ah! Sanctism will reign!
Oh look, these 2 butt heads are fighting. And of course, one of them had to be that Claudel prick. I can't stand that guy, but considering the fact that he supports Louis Guillaburn, I guess we should go ahead and help him out.
Hey Guido, I heard you like pineapple on pizza. You disgust me.
In this fight, we've got to deal with Guido as well as his two cronies. This encounter is kinda tricky, and if you are wondering what makes the fight difficult, it's because of the king. The king has erected multiple coronation rocks around the world. And on these rocks, as well as on the rocky visage of the king himself, you can see some faces. These are the faces of the candidates who are deemed the most likely to find the One Piece. Unfortunately for us, these candidates are under the protection of the king's magic. And because Guido is one such candidate, we have no way to hit him, so the win condition is to defeat his two monks. If you think about it, this means that Guido has no weakness. And you can't even use AoE items like Fire Fang since those would inevitably target Guido as well, so you gotta attack each monk individually. Fortunately for us, Guido doesn't attack. He just really likes to put on a cocky smirk, so this gives me all the time in the world
Now, feel the righteous truth of Sanctism engraved upon your flesh. Sanctism will reign!
So after 2 turns of doing nothing but smirking, on the 3rd turn, Guido will heal his monks and then send you back to the fantasy is dead screen. Considering his damage output, I really can't take too long to finish this fight, and that's why I tried to look for a way to win the battle before the 3rd enemy phase. Finding the right archetypes for this fight is pretty tough because both monks have a variety of powerful single-target and multi-target moves, but ultimately, I went with Merchant Gaming. By throwing ice chunks at the spear monk, we were able to generate extra actions by hitting his weakness, and then we used those extra actions to hit the mage monk. Surviving the enemy phase was tough, but thanks to the back row damage reduction, we were able to soak up the hits. On turn 2, another ice chunk dealt enough damage to get rid of the spear monk, and on turn 3, after Stroll tanked a mage gust, our combined efforts were just enough to get rid of the mage monk before Guido got to play the game.
Here.
Still up? I could do with this. Tougher than I thought.
I've just the thing.
To him. So, the faithful are broken before you, yet your desperate struggling is for naught. You cannot defy the inevitable. I am immune to all your wicked...
I think not, you rotter!
Thank you, Nuras. You are truly the GOAT.
What are you playing at? You think I owe you now or something? I would have been fine without your...
So you're not just a pretty face. You were more help than my useless driver, at least.
Yeah, that's right. Eat shit, Glodel. Oh, yeah, look, there is this woman with really long hair. And it looks like Nuras is really excited to see her.
Oh, blast it all, I can't take it anymore. Yes, those are quality parts and no mistake. Luis really shells out for his own.
By the crown, you can't be serious! She is Juno, the kingdom's greatest singer, the dulcet diva! Oh, this is preposterous! Surely I can't be the only one starstruck? Really? No one else wants to shake her hand? Well, then on behalf of this group, I suppose it falls to me.
I love how this scene subverts your expectations. Like you would think that Nuras would be the one who is all head over heels for Juna because of that one anime trope, but no! In typical Nuras fashion, he's only interested in gauntlet runners. Meanwhile, of all the people here, Hulkenberg is actually the Juna superfan. For a serious knight, Hulkenberg is so unserious at times, and I love this about her. These characters are great. And speaking of characters, allow me to introduce you to one of the best characters in the entire game. My man Batlin. Right now, you probably don't understand why I'm mentioning him, but don't worry. In due time, you will be able to see why I like Batlin so much. Okay, I'm really tired of seeing Claudel's face, so let's get... Oh my god! It's Louis Guyaburn! Oh my god! That was Louis Guyaburn! Well, after this little kerfuffle, we continued our journey, and then on the 27th of June, we finally arrived at our destination. Welcome to Martira, the old castle town. The music that plays in this town is so calm and soothing. It's great. We've got some work to do, but before getting started, we were treated to some of the, local delicacies.
Roasted larvae of the giant sandworm. It's Martira's culinary speciality.
Tis a unique texture, to be sure, but the taste is divine. Exquisite.
You're completely serious, aren't you?
Yes. Of all people, Hulkenberg is the one who's enjoying these meals.
Something the matter? Do try some of your own before it gets cold.
It looks great.
Come now, they're offering us fine hospitality. 'Tis only right that we graciously savor it.
Yes, absolutely right. I'll be cheering you on. And, I'll see to the funeral plans.
How was it? Sometimes the insides can twitch a bit, but it's harmless, I assure you. Please, rest your weary heads for today.
If they aren't here calling a free meal out of us, that is.
Oh, right. This is Morris. He doesn't seem to like us, and trust me, that goes both ways because I cannot stand him either. I do like Bardon though. His smile gives me life. Alright, now that our bellies aren't empty anymore, let's talk about the mission. Our goal is to capture Heisme, a dangerous criminal and child kidnapper who has been targeting the peaceful town of Martira. According to Morris, in 5 days from now, there is going to be a sand flash. This is a natural phenomenon that puts all the wild beasts to sleep, so that should allow us to reach Heisme's lair safely. Oh, thanks for the tip, Morris. I guess I owe you an apology. It looks like I misjudged you. It's also around this point that I unlocked a new feature, teleportation. Now I can fast travel to towns I have previously visited, and this is going to be really useful for completing side quests and working on my follower bonds. I paid a visit to Moore to make use of a pretty cool mechanic, skill inheritance. As the name implies, this feature allows you to inherit skills you've learned in other archetype trees. All you need to do is purchase the skill you want, and just like that, you can equip that skill on all your other archetypes. Since I had enough mag, I was able to unlock Trader Summit on everyone, so now we can all make use of this amazing passive without needing to equip the Merchant archetype. Oh, also, as you can see here, there is a hard limit on the number of inherited skills that you can equip at once. But luckily for us, I just so happen to know a way to unlock more slots. Each of your followers is tied to a specific archetype lineage, and every time you raise your bond with a follower, you will unlock a bunch of useful features, like reducing the mag cost for studying an archetype, or unlocking more slots for skill inheritance. Out of all the ranks I can start raising right now, I decided to prioritize Maria. At rank 4, she unlocks a really useful ability for the Gauntlet Runner, and that's what I'm currently working towards. I was able to reach rank 3 with my dear Maria, and that gave me access to the Cleric archetype. I also gave her the drawing Nura's made, and she really liked it. Maria is a strong kid, but I can tell that she is still hurting from the loss of her father, and honestly, so am I. So whenever I can, I will come back to Grand Trial to tell her the stories of our journey. I then purchased as many damage-dealing items as I could, and once the time came, we all departed for our next destination, the giant sandworm neck. Oh look, Katharina is back. Except this time, she's more interested in throwing hands than shaking hands. I'm really glad that I bought a bunch of Flamma bottles because they completely melt her HP bar. Sadly, Stroll got dumpstered by a charging punch, but luckily for him, Hulky and I were able to end the fight before things got ugly. Winning this fight allowed me to reach rank 2 with Katharina, and after parting ways with her, we finally made it to the nest. Normally this area is very dangerous, but thanks to Maurice's tip, we should be able to get through the entire place.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! What the?
Thanks, Maurice. I hate you, Maurice. Burn in hell! This thing is the freaky worm Homo butera, and I've got good news and bad news regarding this fight. The good news is that we don't need to fully deplete its HP bar. We just need to bring it low enough. As for the bad news... Hey, can you let me finish my sentence, you savage beast? So, when I saw that this thing was able to straight up one-shot us in the back row, I started considering all my options. The first thing I tried was fully debuffing the attack of the boss, but in spite of that, the freaky worm was still able to clap us all. After paying close attention to its moveset, I noticed that most of its attacks are of the strike affinity. So, to increase our odds of survival, I swapped everyone to the Brawler because this archetype has a built-in strike resistance. It also has the passive skill Strike Dodge, and that should increase my odds of dodging strike attacks by a decent amount. As per usual, I opened the fight by throwing ice chunks to hit the weakness, and I used our 3 extra actions to fully debuff the worm. I then braced myself for impact, but Stroll, being the Giga Chat that he is, actually avoided the attack altogether thanks to Strike Dodge. And since a miss forces the attacker to lose 2 press turn icons instead of just 1, that clutch dodge allowed us to avoid taking any damage during the enemy phase. We then unloaded as much as possible, but that still wasn't enough to repel the beast. And on the following turn, the worm went for the extremely hard-hitting Sandstorm, followed by a Swiping Arc which killed Hulky, but again, Stroll being Stroll, my man got another Strike Dodge. And once the player phase came around, one last ice chunk was more than enough to drive back the beast.
This'll do it.
You hit their... It went underground! I think we managed to drive it back!
Okay, so the good news is that we are still alive. The bad news is that we are inside the worm. Hold up, there is an old man living inside the sandworm? Why is this old man living inside the sand? Alright, never mind. Let's focus on what truly matters right now. Getting through the belly of the beast. So, our objective in this dungeon is fairly simple. We must escape from inside the monster. And in order to do that, we need to get to the anus as soon as possible because we are on a timer. If we take too long to escape, we will all get digested by the worm's gastric acids. And while I'm sure that there is someone out there who is really into that for some reason, what a freak, that is not my case, so let's get moving. It's time to get to the rear end of the worm, or as Gallica would put it, alright, let's go! Onward to the butthole of salvation! So instead of going straight to the anus, I took a detour to grab all the loot I could find. Unfortunately, this meant that I had to go through the swamp. And by going through the swamp, I mean spamming rolls repeatedly because in typical swamp fashion, this swamp reduces your mobility all the while your health keeps going down because of the acid. Ah, yes, of course, poison swamps. That's exactly what this game needed. Is this supposed to be a metaphor for why Metaphor ReFantazio is the Dark Souls of poison swamps? Oh, by the way, I hope you don't get a game over in here, because if you get the fantasy is dead, then you have to restart the entire segment from the very beginning. And I can guarantee you that this definitely didn't happen to me. Now, if you've played Metaphor ReFantazio, then you probably remember this segment fondly for 2 reasons. The first one is, well, anus, but I am willing to bet that the second thing you vividly remember is this boss. This is Fish Matador. Well, officially it's called Homo Theos, but personally, I prefer calling it Fish Matador because of the fun and engaging strategy that this boss employs. This boss always gets the first turn, and as soon as it gets to play the game, he's guaranteed to do 2 things. He will use Fishy Fandango to raise his evasion all the way to the max, and then he will use Masukunda to decrease the accuracy of your entire party by 1 stage. So when you combine these two spells, what you get is a slippery boss who is really good at wasting your time. You know what they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Now, as annoying as this boss can be, there is actually a pretty easy way to counter him. One crucial detail that I didn't tell you about regarding items is that in this game, items cannot miss. By abusing this mechanic, the stupid fish got absolutely cooked in a single turn, and I was able to win the fight without taking any damage. And then, after more riveting Poison Swamp gameplay, we finally reached the last boss blocking the way to the anus. It's a worm. We are fighting a worm inside a worm. Can somebody pinch me, please? I feel like I'm having a dream within a dream right now. The prep I did before leaving Martyra absolutely paid off for this fight because my hefty supply of Thunderstones was more than enough to zap the worm out of existence with plenty of time to spare. This was definitely one of the video game moments of our time, but hey, at least now we can resume our mission. I made sure to grab whatever looked valuable, and after a couple of minutes, we finally arrived at Heismay's lair. Okay everyone, the vile criminal known as Heismay should show
We're
up—
but another lesser tribe the city dwellers don't care for.
Wait, this is Heismay? People described him as a terrifying monster, but he's just a tiny man-bat dude. And his voice...
Here I come!
His voice is so deep. Sorry, now is not the time to feel sympathy for the enemy. We've got a fight to deal with. Heismay has a pretty interesting gimmick. The ex-knight of the Shadow Guard can use Shadow Clone Jutsu to summon more copies of himself. And in order to deal damage to him, you will need to figure out which one is the real Heismay. During my first playthrough, this gimmick confused me for a bit, but that was until I looked at the ground and noticed that, curiously, only one of the 4 Heismays has a shadow. As soon as I saw this, I realized that this was the very same gimmick that the boss Ongyoki used in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Hulkenberg and Stroll both went down, but by the time that happened, I had dealt enough damage to secure the win. So it looks like Heismay is hiding somewhere. It's a good strategy. Unfortunately...
Heismay! Come out!
Show yourself!
Louise! You think you're so bloody untouchable, you bastard?
Hey! Big ugly sandwormy human thing! Even Hulkenberg wouldn't eat you!
Gasp! Rejected by Hulkenberg! The ravenous, all-devouring she-beast of the Knight's Order!
Kanika, the sound of your wings keeps me up at night. Stroll, you think you're so smart.
Hulkenberg, you're...
I am absolutely not old-fashioned or stubborn.
You didn't even finish.
Ah! Enough! Stop this infernal din!
Okay, time for round 2. By the way, there is something that I didn't tell you regarding these fights. While Heismay won't hesitate to take down your comrades, he will never land a finishing blow on you because you have main character privilege. So I just kept chucking stones at him until the UGF was forced to submit.
Help, please!
Then my fight ends here. What are those strange powers you possess? Strange lot indeed. And... oh my god, a foul-smelling one to boot.
Ugh, don't remind me.
This is all jolly cheerful.
And I'm to be stuck between these two old goats the whole night.
Don't blame me, lad. You volunteered.
Oh, look at these two getting along. Well, 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 if it isn't our friend Maurice.
O lodestar, who falters in memory, O thou anguished traveler, thy long stagnant stance hath finally been broken. Now choose thy path.
Choose? My choice is already made.
Thank you. Thou hast chosen a noble parting. O lodestar, whose light reveals the king's own path, awaken.
I am Haisme Noctul. I believe the arc of life depends not upon birth. By these hands soiled or sinless, I fight!
Go! Rip them apart!
On guard!
I really like this awakening scene, but if I'm being honest, I kinda wish the boss fight that followed was a bit more interesting. Hulkenberg and Stroll both got some pretty cool fights, but then you get to Haisme and you end up fighting a bunch of dogs. After burning the Hondos to a crisp, I was looking forward to fighting Maurice, but that rascal managed to get away before I could punch him in the face. Very frustrating. In any case, this marks the beginning of our next deadline. I've got a bunch of things that I need to take care of, but first, allow me to properly introduce the newest member of our merry crew. He is a former knight of the Shadow Guard and a master of some darker art. He is a Ujif whose agility is unmatched and a thief who knows how to steal your heart. He is the one and only Haisme!
You think yourself equal to a Ujif's agility? Be neither timid nor arrogant. Oh, power of kings!
My power support you.
My heart and soul are one!
Now that Haisme has officially followed me on Facebook, our crew is able to study a brand new archetype, the Thief. Hulkenberg and Stroll don't really need to study this one right now, so I prioritize unlocking the Thief for Will. In my first playthrough, I found the Thief to be a pretty underwhelming archetype, but let me tell you, in this run, this archetype is actually extremely good because of the utility it provides, and you will see what I mean pretty soon. I then started thinking about the next problem I needed to solve. Training Haisme. In normal circumstances, Haisme should join the crew around level 22, but because of my fantasy, he is now stuck at level 1 just like the rest of us. This unfortunately means that all his stats are scaled down to his level, but that's not all. Haisme is also really far behind everyone else because outside of his own archetype, he hasn't unlocked any archetype at all. This means that I'm gonna have to spend a ton of resources just to get him up to speed. Since I didn't have enough Magla to unlock everything, I taught Haisme the way of the merchant, and then to further his training, I jumped straight into the next dungeon, the Castle of Dread. Welcome to Krigante Castle, one of my favorite dungeons in the game, in part due to the music that plays here. After getting destroyed by the local residents of the sewers, I used some of my AEXP items on Haisme to bring his merchant to rank 5. This gave him access to the goated Trader Summit, and now that all 4 of our party members have access to this skill, we can finally unleash its full potential. When you go from 3 to 4 archetypes of the same lineage, the boost you get from Trader Summit will go from 1.5 to times 2. That's right, now our items can deal double damage, and that DPS boost is amazing for quickly defeating the Elementals. So the first level of this dungeon is called the Rotting Waterway, and within this place you can find a pretty interesting chest. Yup, this game has mimics, because of course everyone needed to feel that paranoia before opening every single chest. The mimics in this game can be pretty annoying to take down, but fortunately, they have a quirk that we can exploit. See, these guys really like gold. So much so in fact that if you use a money skill like the merchant's gold attack, you can make them waste some of their press turns, and that creates more openings for you to whack them until there are no more. Now, the reason why I wanted to defeat this mimic in particular is because beating it unlocks an amazing accessory, the Prowler's Pipe. This accessory increases the success rate of stealing skills by a lot, and this is going to be extremely useful later on. Also, with the Thief archetype in my possession, I can finally show you its amazing hero passive in action. So in this game, enemies have 2 different drops, a common drop and a rare drop. The Thief's hero passive is called Pickpocket, and this ability gives you a 50% chance of receiving an enemy's common drop when stunning or killing them. So thanks to the Thief, it's possible to farm items without needing to enter in a battle, and this is pretty convenient because some enemies drop really good loot, like the Red Homotenta. Their common drop is the Lava Crystal, a single target fire item that deals 200 fixed damage. With Trader Summit, this item can deal 400 damage, so naturally, I tried to farm those crystals, but I encountered an issue. At level 1, killing anything in a reasonable amount of time is impossible, so you can't just spam attacks, you also need to dodge. When there is only one foe to worry about, dodging is fairly easy, but these little guys always move in packs. When you are surrounded, it's really difficult to avoid getting hit. And if you get hit, you'll get ambushed. And if you get ambushed, you will die. I was scratching my head trying to find a solution until I realized that an item that I never used during my first playthrough was exactly the answer I was looking for: the Invincible Noodles. When consumed, for 60 seconds, the noodles will ensure that you take no damage while traversing dungeons. This was exactly the answer I was looking for, and thanks to the noodles, I got a good amount of lava crystals. I also bullied a bunch of fish matadors to get my hands on some demonic icicle, and then I came face to face with the main gimmick of this dungeon. In certain sections of the castle, you will have to move around while avoiding the gaze of this shadowy figure. Now, if you are confident in your skills, you can try to take this thing on, but personally, I am not going to do that. Beating this thing would require using a ton of resources, and the reward you get for winning is simply not worth the effort. Alright, I think we should be safe for now. Ah, of course, how could I forget the mandatory Crash Bandicoot level? I don't know why everything is exploding, but I'm all for it. Metaphor ReFantazio, everybody, my game of the year 2024. At last, the time has finally come to confront more... I like how Gallica is also falling like the rest of us despite having wings. She even comments on it. I can't believe this loser hit us with the pitfall trap.
You bastard!
Wait, I remember that voice. That's Captain Klinger. So he is alive after all.
Stop!
Oh, was alive, I guess. Oh. I swear to God, Maurice, if I catch you, or if I catch you, Maurice, if I catch you! Okay. So for this segment, everyone has been trapped and we need to liberate them one by one. The thing is, the cells inside the Steiner's dungeon are linked, so every time we save a teammate, we also have to deal with the enemies that got freed. For the first fight, I have to deal with a bunch of wolves all alone. Fighting them normally is really scary because they can easily kill me in one turn. So instead of jumping straight into a battle, I spent 5 minutes playing Dark Souls until every wolf was low.
We'll hold our ground.
Bad. Let's get him some healing.
Take it.
You hit their weakness. That's
This'll
your
do it.
opening, Captain.
Close one.
Close one. But hey, a win's a win. Phew.
Next, I had to choose who I wanted to save first. I decided to go with the goat Heisme and oh look, it's the green dogs again. Fortunately, the two of us were able to dispatch these hondos with relative ease. Hulky was the next party member I freed, and her enemies were also very easy to defeat. Then came the turn to free my bro Stroll, and if you are wondering why I saved him for last, it's because his cell is right next to this big guy. Facing the Kaimenza head-on is way too difficult, so instead of doing that, I decided to use my secret technique. Dark Souls, of course. By playing Dark Souls, I was able to stun the Kaimenza. Stunning the beast ensured that I would start every battle with an opening volley, and it's thanks to the damage of this preemptive strike that we were able to defeat the monster before it got a chance to play the game. And with that, we've reached the end of this dungeon. Now, I could go straight into the next fight, but yeah, the main boss of this area is easily one of the hardest bosses in the entire game. So before tackling this abomination, I'm gonna use the rest of my days to prepare as much as I can. Before leaving the dungeon, I made sure that all my party members mastered the merchant, and then I went back to Grand Tri to spend some time with Maria. Thanks to this little chit-chat, I reached rank 4, and that finally gave me access to an amazing ability, Purpose. An ability that increases post-battle EXP. No, wait, wrong one. That's completely useless for me. I meant speed cooking. So one thing that I haven't really talked about yet is that you can cook inside the Gauntlet Runner. Normally, time will pass if you decide to cook, meaning that cooking does compete with other activities you could be doing. Fortunately, this isn't an issue anymore because this ability will make it so time won't elapse while cooking. Cooking is extremely useful in this game because it gives you access to meals that can grant your party various positive effects. I did some cooking with Stroll because he is one of the only characters in this game who cooks like a decent human being. A man gave me a strange item called a poneglyph. It seems like Nuras can solve that mystery for us, so from now on, I will be sending him all the poneglyphs I can find. Speaking of Nuras, he became my latest follower on Reddit, and thanks to that, I was able to unlock a brand new archetype, the Gunner. With that done, I accepted a quest from this mysterious guy called Cuculus, and then I made my way to the abandoned tomb to complete his...
What's your problem?
Tax the young, bankroll the elderly. Those too old to work will know prosperity under my rule. You little jackanapes will kneel before your betters and elders. And...
Anyways, getting to the tomb wasn't too difficult, but it's only after reaching my destination that I noticed something. You see, sometimes dungeons can have this pink effect called inclement weather. If you explore a dungeon while the weather is bad, the enemies will be stronger. This is sort of a high-risk, high-reward scenario because stronger enemies grant you more experience, but there is a catch. When the weather is bad, you will not receive a turn icon bonus when striking weaknesses or landing critical hits. This penalty makes every single battle a lot harder, including the fight against the boss of this area. Oh, of course it's a mimic. Actually, I am really thankful that this boss is a mimic because this is a great matchup for my merchant squad. So long as someone clicks gold attack, I can permanently take away one of the mimic's press turn icons. This thing hits pretty hard, but reducing its press turn count from 2 to 1 makes the battle easier to handle. And after 4 minutes of throwing money at it, the mimic finally collapsed. Now that I've got my hands on the Malvino ring, I could get out of here, but I decided to stay a little while longer to fight the Cadablich. A flawless victory against these guys nets you 1370 AEXP, and when you have 4 mastered archetypes equipped, that translates to getting around 4 to 7 Heroes Leaf of Light per fight. Enemies in this game will disappear after getting defeated, but if you go back to the entrance of the dungeon and then go in again, that will make them respawn. Thanks to that, I was able to farm the Cadablich to my heart's content. Farming this guy is also useful because he drops the Ghoul Stone, an item that deals 200 dark damage. After farming enough heroes' leaves, I left the tomb and then I gave the Malvino ring to Cuculus. Oh, by the way, Cuculus isn't his name. His real name is Alonso, and by completing his request, I was able to earn a new follower on Instagram as well as a brand new archetype, the Faker. Now I know that this guy might look like the most untrustworthy dude ever, but I can assure you, yeah, he's pretty shady. Like really shady. Like really shady. But Alonso has easily one of the best follower bonds in this game, both in terms of gameplay and story, so focusing on this bond is gonna be one of my top priorities. The time I spent inside the tomb was pretty productive because it also allowed me to get a good amount of money. With this small fortune, I went back to the Glumhole shop at Grand Trad to purchase an item called the Praetorian Cloth. This accessory reduces the turn icon cost of the guard command by half. This is an item that I never used during my first playthrough, and quite frankly, I don't think that it will be useful in this one either, but since you never know, I decided to buy enough of those for all 4 of my party members. And then, after doing everything I could think of, I went back to Krigante Castle to take my revenge on Morris.
What? Here already?
Is that a baby? Nope, not a baby.
Are you hungry? Oh, so fussy today.
This monster. Is it a human?
This is the child you hold so dear? So, all the victims you kidnapped?
Oh, my darling has a hearty appetite. I had Morris deliver us food. But no matter. You look tender enough for my darling's liking.
What?
Darling, are you still hungry? Mother wants you to play with your food!
Oh boy, here we go. It's finally time to talk about the Demon Baby. This thing is easily the creepiest enemy in the entire game. Whenever I look at it, I feel so conflicted. At times, it looks like an innocent and cute child that I really don't want to hurt. But then, it gives you that side glance filled with malice, and suddenly, you get snapped back to reality. You see the tail, the jaws full of sharp teeth, the disproportionate curled-up tongue, and those eyes. That's when you realize...
Please?
The kids you saw...
Help!
All the people who disappeared. They were kidnapped for the sole purpose of feeding this monster. This is the last thing they ever saw, and if we aren't careful, it will be the last thing we will ever see. So, for the sake of all the victims, my comrade and I will do...
This is it?
Someone...
Your Highness,
Okay, this is easily one of the hardest boss fights in the entire game. And if you are wondering what makes this fight so tough, you can boil it down to 2 things. First, the Demon Baby hits ridiculously hard, and second, this boss has no weakness. Now, the lack of weakness is obviously pretty bad, but you see, the real problem here is... Yeah, that damage is insane. That baby can straight up one-shot everyone, even with the damage reduction from the back row. We have finally reached the point where the low HP stats have become a hindrance. To put this into perspective, in a normal playthrough, you should be around level 26 or higher for this boss. And at that level, everyone should have a bit more than 320 HP. However, in this playthrough that is anything but normal, most of my crew doesn't even reach half of 320 HP. Like, look at Buhai's HP stat. The difference between level 26 and level 1 is wild. He has an almost 200 deficit in his HP stat. Now, you might think that my meager HP stat is the sole reason why I'm getting one-hit KO'd here, but that's not quite accurate. In this level 1 run, the demon baby is hitting way harder than it normally should. In truth, all the enemies in this run are hitting way harder than usual, and this is due to a hidden mechanic. You see, in this game, the level difference between the player and the enemy affects the amount of damage dealt and taken. When calculating damage, the game looks for a value called level correction. That value is determined by the difference in level between the attacker and the defender. Once the game has found that number, it will then apply a corresponding damage multiplier based on what that number is. For every level advantage that the attacker has, the level correction multiplier will get stronger and stronger until it reaches the cap. Once the level difference reaches the cap of 25 or higher, the game will apply its strongest damage multiplier, times 3. So, if we apply what I just said to our current example, the level difference between the demon baby and my crew is 29, meaning that this thing is hitting 3 times harder than normal. This is obviously really bad, but there is a silver lining. There is no damage penalty from being underleveled against bosses, so at least I don't have to worry about the game decreasing my damage. After seeing Fantasy is dead time and time again, it became pretty clear that I had to find a way to deal with the two issues posed by this fight: surviving and the fact that this thing has no weakness. Kinda. I will elaborate later. While the lack of weakness complicates things, it's not too bad because I can consistently deal 400 damage to the demon baby thanks to Trader's Summit. As for finding a way to survive, yeah, that's far more difficult. The first thing I did was debuffing the demon baby with my items. And while putting the thing at -3 attack was certainly useful, that alone wasn't enough to tank 2 attacks. I kept checking the resistances of my archetypes to see which one would be ideal for this fight, but eventually, I realized that focusing on resistances was pointless because of the moveset of this boss. The demon baby has 2 moves in particular that are extremely difficult to handle: Eager Bite and Deafening Din. And if you are wondering why they are so dangerous, it's because they are almighty. Much like in the other Megaten games, almighty attacks disregard the resistance system, and what I mean by that is that there is no way to resist, block, repel, or even drain them. Eager Bite is pretty ridiculous, but at least it's a single target move. Deafening Din, on the other hand, is way scarier. Not only does it hit the entire field, oh, it can crit too? Why is this move allowed to crit? But it also decreases your defense by 1 stage. So the more that baby screams, the harder it becomes to stay alive. Since there is no way to decrease almighty damage by tweaking your resistances, I looked for an archetype that could allow me to decrease the amount of damage taken in general, and that's why I went with the Knight. This archetype heavily favors the endurance stat, and that's the stat that reduces the amount of damage you take. This is pretty convenient because ranking up this archetype allows me to raise the endurance of my entire crew, but what truly makes the Knight so good in this scenario is that it gets 2 interesting skills: Ironclad Bond and Guard Lore. Ironclad Bond is a passive that increases defense by 10%, and the boost you get from it will increase further if archetypes of the same lineage are present. So if you have 4 archetypes of the same lineage on the field, the boost you get from Ironclad will go from 10% to a whopping 50% defense increase. As for Guard Lore, it's a passive that automatically increases the defense of the wielder at the start of battle. Starting the fight at +1 defense is great because it delays how quickly Deafening Din can decrease my stat. As for the inherited skills, since I only have 1 slot to play with, I made sure to equip Trader's Summit on my comrades. I also decided to unlock and master the Seeker and Brawler archetypes on everyone to give them a permanent HP boost. Most of my guys had already mastered the Brawler archetype, so mastering the Seeker gave them 20 more HP. As for Heisme, since he hadn't unlocked those 2 archetypes yet, he was able to get a +40 boost to his HP stat. After implementing all these little tweaks, I challenged the demon baby The Dean. That's even with my... In the back row, with the defense boost. My god. Yeah, in spite of all that optimization, the demon baby was still hitting too hard. This was honestly pretty demoralizing. I kept flexing my thinking muscles in hopes of finding my eureka moment. However, nothing came up. But then, as I kept getting pummeled by the spawn of Satan, something came to me. I realized that the answer I was seeking was inside my inventory this entire time. And funnily enough, it's an accessory that I never got to use in my first playthrough. That accessory is none other than the one that improves the guard command, the Praetorian Cloth. So in metaphor, guarding reduces incoming damage by 50%. This is obviously a really powerful mechanic, but in this specific scenario, it's not practical. Since the boss baby has no weakness, I have no way to consistently generate extra actions in this fight. This is problematic because guarding consumes the full press turn icon. So if I guard with everyone, my turn is always going to end, and if my turn ends, then I can't do stuff like attacking or healing myself. However, when you factor in the Praetorian Cloth, that dynamic changes completely. With this accessory equipped on everyone, instead of spending 4 turn icons, it only costs 2 turn icons to guard with my entire squad. So now I can use 2 of my press turn icons to damage the demon baby, and then with my 2 remaining press turns, I can make my whole squad guard. And thanks to this tech, I am finally able to survive the rampage of this nightmarish creature. In order to deal with this level of damage, I'm gonna need powerful healing items, and fortunately for me, this is where Trader's Summit comes in. What's cool about this skill is that it's not just useful offensively, it's also a great defensive tool because Trader's Summit also increases the potency of healing items. So having 4 archetypes of the same lineage doesn't just double the damage of my items, it also doubles the recovery I get from them. And this makes getting back to full health a lot easier. After combining all these mechanics together, I had finally managed to keep this fight under control. The demon baby was still hitting harder than a grown-ass man, but thanks to my attack debuffs, healing items, as well as the guard tech, I was able to keep everyone alive. And by improving our survivability, dealing damage became a lot easier. We kept pushing the creature lower and lower, until the demon baby could no longer recover.
Oh, my darling, Mama's here. Mama will always be here for you. Here, take all the magic I have.
She healed the demon baby?
Ah, yeah, she can do that. Alright, this isn't too bad. I just need to throw more items. Oh, wait. The baby is preparing something. I have no idea what it's going to do, but as long as everyone guards, we should be fine. Yeah, as you just saw, Joanna will restore half of the demon baby's HP after you bring it low enough.
She healed the demon baby?
This didn't surprise me since I had already played the game before, but this? I didn't know the boss baby had this move. What? So, the demon baby has a pattern it likes to follow. It spends 2 turns attacking you, and then on the 3rd turn, it will aim at you and gather power. Typically, when you see this, it means that the demon baby will go for jumping playtime on the following turn, but apparently it can just go for Soul Scream instead. Soul Scream is an enemy-only move that grants 4 blinking turn icons, and if this thing is allowed to use it, it's pretty much a game over. At first, I thought that this was a random occurrence, but after looking back on my losses, I was able to pinpoint what triggered Soul Scream. The demon baby will only use Soul Scream if its HP is really low while it's gathering power. So as long as you keep this in mind, you won't have to deal with this move. After absorbing all that knowledge, I prepared my troops, and then we went back inside the cursed room to slay the beast of the Castle of Dread. This time, everything that could go wrong went wrong. The demon baby was spamming Deafening Din non-stop, and it was such a struggle to keep everyone alive. The attack debuffs helped a lot, but they weren't enough to fully protect us from the rampage, and eventually Hulkenberg went down. Fortunately, we were able to withstand the assault long enough for the defense debuffs to wear off on their own, and it was at that moment that I got the special Gallica dialogue. After enough time has passed, Gallica will suggest attacking the eyes of the creature, and after she says that, you will be able to target both the left and the right eye. While the boss itself has no weakness, the eyes are actually weak to pierce. Because I optimized my team for survival, I have no way to exploit that pierce weakness, but that's not that big of a deal because they aren't immune to items. So after reviving Hulky, I targeted both eyes until, oh my god, look at these bloodshot eyes! This thing looks even scarier! Okay, while it does make the demon baby look creepier, targeting the eyes is still really useful because it makes the boss's attacks less accurate. This will also force the boss to waste a full turn to regenerate them. So by blinding the boss, we were able to create more openings to target it. And eventually, after throwing countless items, the demon baby's stance changed. As pleasing as it was to see the creature in its weakened state, it was too early to celebrate. Joanna was about to heal the monster, and I knew that none of us would be able to stay alive if this battle kept going any longer. We had to do everything we could to slay the beast before it would devour us.
Here, take all the magic I have.
She healed the demon baby?
There!
This should work.
A noble's duty is to protect their people, staying on the defense.
Freezing! They'll not break my defenses.
I stand ready.
Here!
Let's stay calm. This'll do.
Observe the enemy. Adjust the thing. A worthy foe after
Be
all.
neither timid nor arrogant. 'Tis best used.
That helped.
That's me.
My thanks.
Badly wounded. Can anyone heal him? Hulkenberg's down. Get her back up.
Where it ends.
Hulkenberg's down. Someone help her get back in the fight.
This should work.
My spirit
Joel
is
can't take any more.
unbroken.
Someone heal him.
Let's try this.
I owe you.
Is everyone all right? There!
Think.
No, my mind fades.
Stroll's dazed.
I was saving this. Formidable
Try
indeed.
saving the day.
Here!
He's gonna have trouble aiming.
Tougher than I thought.
This'll do.
What the hell was that? That was insane!
Good. 'Tis done.
Now that the demon baby is no more, we've got 5 days to do whatever we want before we depart from Artira, and I figured that this was the perfect time to take care of some bounties. The first one I went for was the Valmo duo inside the Man-Eater Grotto. This is one of those fights where you need to defeat both enemies in one fell swoop. So long as you keep that in mind, the fight shouldn't be too difficult.
Not like this.
Forgive me.
Yeah, this isn't a good matchup for the merchant, but contrary to what you might think, I don't need to change my archetype for this fight. Guarding makes it impossible for enemies to exploit your weakness, so thanks to the guard tech, I was able to prevent another regicide memento. And from there, getting rid of the worms was just a formality. Oh, and while we are here, I wanna show you something. So before reaching the grotto, I used the laundry activity to increase my MP by 3. I also maxed out the mage archetype to get a permanent boost of 20 MP. Doing this allowed me to reach 98 MP with Will, and after using an energy incense, I was able to reach 100 MP. I finally have enough MP to cast Death Collection once, so now I can get a ton of mag from enemies. Really? Only 200 mag? How is that even possible? Oh, I get it. Yeah, so it turns out that the formula for debt collection is affected by two things: the rank of your archetype and your level. This unfortunately means that I will never be able to get more than 200 mag per debt collection. This is pretty bad, honestly, but one thing that's good to know about debt collection is that the mag you gain from it is added to the battle reward screen, meaning that it's affected by the unscathed triumph bonus. The elementals are the perfect target for tax collection because they give a lot more mag than regular enemies. So before leaving a dungeon, you can jump one of those little balls and collect as much taxes as possible before winning the battle to get a good amount of magla. After leaving the grotto, I went to the imp's den to get rid of the Goborn King, and then I took care of the man-eater Manjula in the Tradia Desert. When I was going through this area for the first time, I had no other choice than to run away from everything like a coward, but now I can finally go toe-to-toe with the creatures of the desert, and that feels great. While exploring the grotto, I found another one of those poneglyphs. Giving it to Nuras allowed me to reach his rank 2, and that unlocked the ability Bombardier. From now on, Nuras will be able to deal damage to the enemies at the start of every battle that takes place on the Gauntlet Runner's deck. I also spent some time with best boy Leon Stroll Kennedy. Rank 3 has been unlocked, so now everyone can study a new adept archetype, the Sword Master, an archetype that's going to be really useful in a specific boss fight from the next arc. Now that I take a good look at this archetype, the Sword Master has this crescent-shaped ornament on its helmet that kinda looks like a mustache. Interesting. It reminds me of a certain someone. And right before leaving, I went to see the lovely big man Bardon. He became my newest follower on YouTube, and just like that, I unlocked a new archetype, the Commander. And with that done, all that remains is to ride to Oceania, towards our next destination. Every battle in the Caradrius needs to be won in 3 turns or less.
Military discipline is absolute. I've no sympathy for the kind of insolent devil who disobey a superior officer.
I'm sorry.
What's the matter? You'll need to do better than that!